Good morning, students. Today we are continuing with the next part of Lifelines of National Economy. The next type of transport network is waterways. Children, waterways is the oldest and also the cheapest means of transport. In olden days, people used to build rafts and they used to go from place to place within a small area also. Later on, the people started moving from one state to another state. Now we also travel from one country to another country. If you remember, in the slave trade, in history part we have done, during the slave trade also, many African people were packed into the ships and they were taken to the American plantations. And it was such a long distance, but it was covered by the water routes. And because it is also the cheapest means of transport, if very heavy goods have to be transported from one country to another country, say maybe cars have to be transported, how they will be transported? So they are transported by the means of water transport. And there are two types of waterways also, we call it as. One is inland waterways and one is overseas waterways. Inland waterways means if we are transporting the people and the goods within a country by the means of water within a country. Say for example, we take a small ship in the river Ganga and we cross one region to another region within our country. That is what is called as inland transport. Inland water transport. But if we are transporting the people or the goods from one country to another country, we call it as overseas transport. Now let us do what is the importance of these waterways. Waterways are the cheapest means of transport. Yes, if we are carrying a large number of people, carrying heavy goods, far off distances, it is the cheapest means of transport. They are most suitable for carrying heavy and bulky goods. It is also a fuel efficient. If you are traveling by an airlines or if you are traveling by the roadways, a lot of fuel is wasted. So when you are traveling on the waterways, fuel is saved. So it is a fuel efficient and also environment friendly mode of transport. You can see if the people are traveling by the boats, etc., it is also environment friendly transport. That's your importance of the waterways. We also have the national waterways, children. We are not talking about the international waterways. We are talking about the national waterways within our country. When the people are moving from one state to another state or one region to another region through the means of water, we talk about as national waterways. The government has declared 5 routes as the national waterways. Children, generally this question comes for 3 marks. So if you are learning, specially, you will learn the first 3 waterways. And in the old book, you will not find the last 2. In the new book, they are being added newly. So the first one is the Ganga River National Waterway between Allahabad and Haldia. National waterway number 1. You don't have to learn the distance, children. There is no need to learn the distance it covers or the kilometers. So you will learn national waterway. NW means national waterway number 1. That is Ganga River between Allahabad and Haldia. Next, Brahmaputra River It is also the national waterway number 2, river Brahmaputra between Sadia and Dhubri. These are the places. You have to learn this. You have to learn this. National waterway number 1, number 2, and then this much. Third, the West Coast Canal in Kerala. The West Coast Canal in Kerala, which is also called as National Waterway number 3. It is not needed that you will learn the distance. There is no need. Then if you can remember these places, you can learn. Otherwise, you can leave and just learn the West Coast Canal in Kerala. Fourth one is your specified stretches of Godavari and Krishna rivers along the Kakinada and Puducherry stretch. It is again National Waterway number 4. National Waterway number 5, you can learn it as special stretches of river Brahmani along with Matai river. And also you can learn it as East Coast Canal. You cannot learn the whole thing. So you can just learn only those things which I have underlined, not the ones which I have crossed. That you don't have to learn. This I have crossed it. These distances, there is no need of these distances. So whatever I have underlined, you learn. So again, I am repeating National Waterway number 1, the Ganga River between Allahabad and Haldia. National Waterway number 2, the Brahmaputra River between Sadia and Dhubri. National Waterway number 3, the West Coast Canal in Kerala. National Waterway number 4, the specified stretches of Godavari Krishna. National Waterway number 5, the specified stretches of river Brahmani and Matai, also East Coast Canal. That is what you will learn in the national waterways. Then we have shown here also that you don't have to show these national waterways. Whatever map work the CBSE will give, that we will do, children. The next part is a part where you will get lots of 1-mark questions. This is the part where you will get lots of 1-mark questions, children. So let's start with first one. We are going to do the major seaports. There are seaports on both the coasts of our country, which we call it as the West Coast as well as the East Coast ports. So we are starting with the West Coast ports first of all. So the first port we are going to do is your Kandla port. Kandla in Kutch was the first port developed soon after independence to ease the volume of trade on the Mumbai port in the wake of loss of Karachi port of Pakistan after the partition. Children, Mumbai is the largest and the busiest port of India, also a very old port. But before independence, we also had Karachi port. But after the independence, after the division of India, the Karachi port went into the Pakistan. So we needed another port because in Mumbai port there was heavy traffic. Now what I mean by traffic is lots of goods were loaded and unloaded. So there was a lot of pressure on this Mumbai port. So that is why another port just near to Mumbai, which is in Kutch, Kutch is in Gujarat, which is also near to the Maharashtra. So this Kandla port was built after the independence. Kandla today is also known as Deen Dayal Port, and it is a tidal port. What is a tidal port? Tidal ports are the ports in which the water level within the port are subject to change with the oceanic tides. They keep changing with the oceanic tides. And it is also a place from where the energy is extracted. We all know tidal waves give rise to the tidal energy. So that's your tidal port. It caters to the convenient handling of exports and imports of highly productive granary and industrial belt. This port exports, also imports a lot of goods. A lot of exports are done from the states of Jammu Kashmir, Himachal, Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan and Gujarat, especially the north and northwestern states from where the granaries and the industrial goods are exported, and few goods also are imported to our country. This is the map of the ports which we will see at the end and when we'll do the map work, children. So for the time being, I can show you the west coast ports. We have the Kandla port just now, which we have studied, children, which is here, Kandla port. We have the Mumbai port, just near to Mumbai port. Another port was built because again Mumbai port, even after building Kandla port, in Mumbai port there was a lot of pressure, that is a lot of traffic of goods. So that's why another port was built called as Jawaharlal Nehru Port, which is just near to it. Then we are going to study about the New Mangalore Port, children, which is in Karnataka. We also will study a Marmagaon Port, which is in Goa. Then we are going to study about the Cochin Port, which is in Kerala, or which is also called as Kochi Port. Then we are going to study about your East ports, which are your Kolkata port, Haldia port, which is just near to Kolkata, Paradeep port, which is in your Orissa, Vishakhapatnam port, which is in your Andhra Pradesh, and then you are going to study about your Chennai port also, and one more port just near to Chennai, that is below the Chennai, that is your Tuticorin port. These are the ports which we are going to study, children. And let's proceed with these ports. So one port we have already done, that is your Kandla port. We have the next major ports, Mumbai. As I told you, many of the one markers can be formed here. So the biggest port of our country, which handles the largest amount of export and import, that's your Mumbai port, which handles the largest amount of loading and unloading. Next, we have the Jawaharlal Nehru port, which was planned with, again, as I told you, to ease the traffic on the Mumbai port. This kind of Jawaharlal Nehru port was also built. Then we have the Marmagaon port. As I told you, Marmagaon port is located in Goa, and it is also known for export of iron ore mainly. A lot of iron ore is exported from this port. So let's now also look into the meaning of well-sheltered harbour. A harbour is a safe place providing refuge and comfort for ships. Harbour is sheltered port area shielded from waves. So well-sheltered harbour means it will not get destroyed due to the waves because it is well-protected harbour. Well-protected port or well-protected harbour. So it will not be affected by the waves. And then Marmagaon port, I told you, it exports iron ore. We come to the next port. You can see the ports are shown here, the pictures. I know that all the ports look same. Major ports, again, New Mangalore port, which I have shown you, which is located in Karnataka. This is a very, very important one mark question. New Mangalore port, which is located in Karnataka, because it caters to the export of iron ore mainly from the mines, very famous mines called as Kundremukh mines. Very famous mines called as Kudremukh mines in Karnataka. From there, almost 100% of iron ore is exported from New Mangalore port, which is located in Karnataka. Then we have Kochi port. As I have shown you, Kochi port, it is located in Kerala. Now, what is this Kochi port? It is a port which is extreme southwest, that is in the Kerala located, which is located at the entrance of a lagoon with a natural harbour. One mark question again. Now, what is a lagoon? It's actually, children, a stretch of salt water. A small stretch of salt water separated from the sea by a low sandbank or a coral reef, that is called as a lagoon. So at the entrance of a lagoon, ports are formed, natural ports again, which is called, for the example, we have the Kochi port, which is located in Kerala, which is the extreme southwest port. We come to the east ports now, the extreme southeast port. The extreme southeast port, which is located in Tamil Nadu, that's your port called as Tuticorin port, which is located in Tamil Nadu. And it is the port known as a natural harbour and a rich hinterland. Now, what do you mean by hinterland? It is actually an area lying beyond what is visible or known. An area lying beyond what is visible or known. A kind of remote areas of a country away from the coast. That's your hinterland. So it has a flourishing trade handling a large variety of cargoes to the neighboring countries like Sri Lanka, Maldives, etc. because it is near to that Sri Lanka, Tuticorin port, which is near the Chennai port, also in Tamil Nadu. Next one is your Chennai port, again a 1 mark question. One of the oldest artificial ports of the country. It is one of the oldest artificial ports of the country and also the second biggest port after Mumbai, which handles a large amount of cargo. Busiest port is your Mumbai, first busiest port. Second busiest port is your Chennai. Then we come to the next one. Few more ports of your eastern land. That's your Vishakhapatnam, which is again a very famous port, is the deepest landlocked and well protected port. 1 mark question, very important. They ask you which is the deepest landlocked and a well protected port of India. Mainly they will ask deepest landlocked port. Answer is Vishakhapatnam. It also handles a lot of iron ore export. Now, what do you mean by landlocked port? Now, the name itself tells landlocked. That means it is enclosed in all sides by the land. It is enclosed in all sides by the land, and it is also the deepest port, which is naturally deep. So that is why it is called as deepest landlocked port of India. Then next we have Paradweep port, which is located in Odisha. It also exports a lot of iron ore. We have few more ports. Kolkata port, which is located in that is in the West Bengal. It is also called as inland riverine port. Now, what do you mean by inland riverine port, children? We have done in earlier chapters. This is a riverine formed by the rivers actually before they meet the sea. For example, Ganga and Brahmaputra, when before they meet the sea, Bay of Bengal, they form a port that is called your inland riverine port. This port serves a very large and rich hinterland. I told you what do you mean by hinterland? Of Ganga Brahmaputra basin. It is also a tidal port, so requires constant dredging of Hooghly river. So it's formed, Hooghly river is flowing in Kolkata. So that Hooghly, Ganga, a part of Ganga is called as Hooghly. So that Hooghly river forms this port. Then we have the Haldia port, which is developed just near the Kolkata, so that because even the Kolkata handles a lot of exports. So there was a lot of pressure on the Kolkata port. So to ease that, Haldia port is formed just near the Kolkata port. That completes your waterways. Children, we come with the airways. What is the importance of airways, children? If we have to travel to long distances, if we have to travel from one country to another country, and we have money with us, we can easily take an air travel, because air travel is the fastest, comfortable and prestigious mode of transport. People who are rich, Generally, they travel by the airways. And today is the world of the globalization, where a person sitting in one corner of the country can take breakfast in one country, lunch in another country, and dinner in another country. It is possible because of the air travel, which is also a very fast means of transport. And air travel is used to cross lot of dense forest. If we are going to a region where there are a lot of mountains, it is easy to reach through air travel. If you are going through a desert, you can take an air travel. If you have to cross dense forest, you can take an air travel. If you have to cross the long oceanic stretches, you can take an air travel. Then the question, very important question which I am coming up here is, this is children 1 mark and sometimes a 3 mark question, that is, why is air travel preferred in the northeastern states? In your book, a picture is shown of helicopter. So they will ask you to identify the type of transport. So you have to identify that it is an air travel, and then they will ask you a question, why is air travel preferred in the northeastern states? Children, it is preferred in northeastern states because northeastern states have many rivers dissecting relief. The relief is so much uneven. There is so much of mountainous areas and lot of unevenness, with lots of dense forest and frequently floods. There are lot of frequent floods in this region. Like for example, we have studied that Brahmaputra, every year there is a flood in river Brahmaputra in Assam. So frequent floods and lots of international frontiers. If you see your India map, northeastern states, we have a lot of borders, that is international frontiers means borders with the other countries. We have Nepal border, we have China border, we have Bhutan border. So lots of countries are having the borders here. And also there is absence of other means of transport here. It's very difficult to travel by the roadways, and railways are very few railway lines are laid here. So that's why people prefer to travel by air when they are going towards the eastern part of our country. Then we come to the next part, that is, there is also, you might have seen during the emergencies, when there is any calamity in our country, when there is a flood, when there is a drought, any kind of maybe an earthquake or tsunami. At that time, you have seen that how military goes and helps the people. It rescues the people. It gives the food supplies, medicine supplies through the helicopters. At that time, no other means can be used. So these people use the helicopters for the help. So not only that, children, in the earlier part, when I was teaching you about the pipelines, this gas and oil, natural gas and oil, they are generally located in the water. These regions where the I told you about the Mumbai High and Basin. Mumbai High and Basin. I will show you again the picture of Mumbai High and Basin. Children, this is the map which I have shown. But if I have to show you the Mumbai High and Basin, children, it is located in the Arabian Sea over here. So if the people have to go, see, we can transport the oil and gas through the pipeline, but how will the people go there to work? So people from these coastal areas, all these coastal areas, they will go to work from the coastal areas to this region in the Arabian Sea through these Pavan Hans helicopters. So the Pavan Hans helicopters is giving the people the service to reach to these areas where oil and natural gas are extracted. So let's see this again here when we are going towards the waterways. I'm showing you children the picture actually I'm trying to take. You can see this children. This is what I was talking about. See, this is the oil and natural gas drilling station. So if the people have to reach to this station, children, here, how the people will go? So the people will be taken by the helicopters and they can easily manage. They can go in morning and come back in the evening by the use of these helicopters. So that's the use of the Pawan Hans Helicopters Limited. Children, again, a very important 1 mark question. So either they will ask you the Pawan Hans helicopters or they will ask you this Northeastern States Air Travel. So Pawan Hans Helicopters Limited provides helicopter services to Oil and Natural Gas Corporation in its offshore. Offshore means away from the shore, to inaccessible areas and also to the difficult terrain. They also give us the services to go to the northeastern states. Even lot of military uses these helicopters to reach the interior parts of Jammu Kashmir, Himachal and Uttarakhand, which are not accessible regions. So that's about your helicopter services. And this is the picture which I have shown you already. That completes all your transportation part, children. So that's all for this video, children, because in the next video, we will cover up communication and trade. So that completes the whole of transportation network. Whatever questions I have told you, children, you can even write in your registers and also learn them. That's all for this video, children. Have a good day.